Hi, everyone. I hope you're all well. Welcome to another live Meet the Expert session where experts give you their advice on how to succeed in the world of work. I'm Kathleen. I'm an account manager at JobTeaser in the UK. And today we have with us Mairead O'Flynn, the University Campus Manager at VMware. Mairead, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. It's been really nice sunny weather here, which definitely helps isolation times. Thank you
Definitely.
so much for joining us. How's the adjustment to remote work been for you?
It's been okay, yeah, because I suppose VMware is a company, it's a software company that provides company solutions to let their employees work from anywhere. So we always worked a couple of days from home anyway, so it just kind of was really quick being like all from home. So it's not been too bad, but I'm looking forward to getting back into human contact and seeing people again.
Yeah, me too. So today, Mairead is going to shed some light on the importance of self-awareness in choosing the right career, some tools and techniques to help you become more self-aware, and lastly, she's going to talk about how change in mindset can help you overcome any obstacles that you might face. Mairead, can you start off by giving us a little bit of your university and career background?
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of call it my career maze more than journey because I feel like I jumped around a lot. And I think that's why I'm so interested in this topic about self-awareness and a growth mindset. So I studied computers in university. And I suppose I only chose that because everyone said there was a lot of money in tech. There was no real kind of reason behind it. And I always remember my first day, like I couldn't even turn on a computer. It was incredibly embarrassing. But no, I was good at it actually, and I completed the degree, but I didn't know what kind of role I wanted afterwards. And everyone just talked about software development, so I thought that was the only option. I knew I didn't want to do that.
Mm.
So my first job was in a graduate program where I got lots of exposure to different things, like the marketing team. It was in an enterprise development company. And then I went traveling for a year and I came back and I worked in project management, I worked in recruitment. Um, and eventually I got a job in the gaming industry, like computer games. And I wasn't a big gamer, but like I loved how games connected people, and I loved working for a like multinational company. So I kind of progressed my career through that, and then went to VMware, and I've changed roles three times in VMware, but I've been the university relations manager for the last 2 years now. And the main premise behind my job is to go out there and build the brand of VMware with students across Europe and universities across Europe, because not many people know who we are, and we're a great company. So we want to make sure people know who we are and they want to come work for us.
That's very cool. It's
Yeah.
perfect. We are interviewing you now.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you've done it all and you've hopped around a lot. Do you think there's too much of an emphasis on trying to find that perfect job, that first job?
Oh, I definitely think people put a lot of pressure on themselves to try to find that one perfect job, when really, like, they're probably going to find a lot of jobs that they really like and a lot of jobs that they mightn't like so much.
Mhm.
And when you think about the fact that, like, I think there's some stats that in 2030, like, 85% of the jobs that'll be available haven't even been invented yet. So, I think it's impossible to come up with your perfect job right now. You should just be looking for, a company that fits who you are, somewhere where you want to be.
And do you think, with all the changes that you made, would you have any advice on the amount of time that you should stay at one company or one role, or if you feel like it might not be the right fit?
Um, like I feel like you can make a lot out of a bad situation. So you could probably, still like be growing skills, but be more aware about what you want and be looking for that right opportunity. I don't think that there's a set amount of time. I know there's a thing in CVs that if you've jumped around a lot, that people would be like, oh, are you committed to anything? But I think that, like, even in my career, I've changed my roles, but every role that I've done has taught me a different skill set. And the role that I've ended up in, it's because I did recruitment, it's because I had project management, it's because I did, worked in tech companies before. So I feel like, it all leads to somewhere. So don't be too hard on yourself, but at the same time, you want to be happy where you work. You don't want to be in a workplace where you don't enjoy going in there in the morning. So, just make decisions based on what you need.
And I don't think it necessarily looks bad on your CV. If you get to an interview stage, you can always explain these things, and it could come out in a good light.
Definitely, yeah.
So just moving on to self-awareness, can you tell us what exactly is self-awareness and why is it so important?
Well, I suppose it's what it sounds like. It's an awareness of who you are, knowing your needs, your wants. So it's really like looking inside at who you are and what you want from your career. I think it's so important for career satisfaction, because if you don't know who you are and what you want, then you're going to feel like you're chasing all these goals, and when you get them, they won't mean anything to you because they're not actually your goals. And I think that happened to me a lot, because everyone talked about, promotion and just getting to more senior roles. And that's what I did. I chased a lot of those. I put a lot of time and effort. And when I got them, I might feel good for a while, but then I realized that wasn't my goal. I was chasing other people's goals. So I think I always have like this image of a ladder that doesn't lead to that leads to nowhere, just the sky. But like, it's the same thing. If you're just like climbing this ladder and you don't know what's on top, then is it really worth climbing?
Yeah, I think sometimes you can get confused when other people think you're doing really well, and you're like, wait a second, this isn't exactly what I want.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
easy to figure it out. So would you have any recommendations for students or young graduates who are trying to decide on a career path, and where should they start?
So coming back to self-awareness, I think that the first thing to do is start really, really thinking about who you are and what you want. And I have this technique that I recommend that everyone tries. And when we talk about self-awareness, it always like sounds like it's an easy thing to do, but it's probably one of the hardest things that you're going to do in your life, and something that you'll continually have to work at, because you need to grow, you need to learn, and you need to learn what you don't like as well as what you like. So this is a sheet I prepared earlier. Hopefully you'll be able to see it, but this is called your VIPs. The sun's probably coming in, but basically it's a sheet of paper divided into four, and V stands for your values. You've got I for your interests, P is your personality, and S is your skills. And I'll talk you through that a bit more now. So take a piece of paper, break it into four, and start with your values. So your values are basically your why. It's like, why do you even work in the first place? What's driving you? And this can be like, I suppose, impacted by like your upbringing, your culture, everything, like, can impact your values, and it's different for everyone. So like, is it because you want to change the world? You want to make the world a better place? You want money? You want recognition, so really work out what's your why. And I think it's an amazing thing to have, even like spend the time to do this and put it on your CV as your elevator pitch. This is who I am, and this is the impact I want to make on the world. And it's great to go back and helping you make decisions as well, because you can always like, think, does this align with my why? Then your I is your interest. So that's your, things that you love doing, things that like enlight a passion in you. I think the best way to describe it is like, what is it that you do that it's so much fun that you lose track of time, you lose yourself in them? And I'd be lying if I said that every single interest that, you find that you'll find a job that you're able to use them all. You're probably not going to be realistically like, I'm interested in horses and I don't get to bring my horse to work every day. But if you find a job that you at least can use some of your interests, then it won't even feel like work. Then your personality. So you have, everyone's different. Like some people are introverted and, they prefer to be kind of behind the scenes. Some people are extroverted and they're not happy until they're in front of everyone. They want to be presenting and stuff. So just recognize that, like that you're different, and don't like expect everyone to be the same as you. You have a personality that like makes you unique, and it means that like there is a perfect role that suits your personality out there as well. So, if you are like an extrovert, then you probably don't want a role where you don't interact with people a lot and you're stuck in a room. There's actually a really good test, and it's free online. It's called 16 Personalities. And I know I said I like everyone's unique, but when you actually do it, like, and it breaks you into 16 personalities, you realize like we're not that unique. It's really on point.
I know, I've done it.
Yeah,
it's me. How do they know?
I know. And I think once you start recognizing that, it's like you almost are like, oh, no wonder I don't like that. I'm not a very attention to detail type person. So, and then the last one then is your skills. So your skills are, I suppose, anything that you've either like, developed through school. It could be some skills that you're like naturally just talented at. There could be stuff that you've picked up from your part-time job or like volunteering. So skills is like something that can be transferred between like different jobs, different places. So just come up with a list of those. And I think one thing to call out that students actually, like, I find that they always kind of confuse this. When they look at a role, they would say like, oh, I don't have these skills, I didn't do this in my last job, but they might have those skills from something else that's outside of their workplace. And it's still a skill, it's still who they are. Like, they're not going to be different in work. If they have that skill, they can bring it to work as well. So, I think be a bit more open as well about like what their skills are, and list everything, not just what they've done in their previous work experience.
About skills, for students that might be experiencing a crisis in confidence, not feeling that self-confidence, how can they appreciate their skills or know the skills that they have? I mean, if they're struggling to see that.
Yeah, and I think that confidence is something like everyone struggles with, especially when you come out of university. You're looking at positions kind of going, I can't do that. I didn't do a course on that. I think that find some people that you trust, like, your friends or your parents, or maybe like if you've a manager or mentor, or somebody that your lecturers or professors or something, and just ask them to give you some feedback on like what they think, and be ready for the positive and the negatives. I think that that's a skill in itself, being able to take feedback and see it as like something that's there to help you, because it's hard to give people feedback. You have to really think about it, and you have to be actually you're vested in people when you give them feedback. So if you're getting feedback, then you have to be willing to take it and see it for the good gift that someone's giving you to help develop your skills and develop you. So I think that that's probably one of the best things to do, is start asking people, and they'll see things in you that you don't even see in yourself, and it'll stay in your head, and you'll start thinking, oh yeah, well, that person said I'm really good, and so it'll just help you develop them.
Yeah, not only will it help you realize your skills, but it'll also help you boost your self-confidence in a time where you might not be feeling that confident.
Definitely.
Is there anything you can recommend during this time for students to gain some skills or improve on existing skills while in lockdown?
Oh, I think we've got a lot of free time. So there's so much out there that you can do. As I said, like that VIP things is really good to start. If you also look at, there's Simon Sinek, it's a TED Talk about why, and I think he has a book called Find Your Why as well, which really, really kind of helps you figure out who you are and what you need to do. There is lots of podcasts out there. I love TED Talks, and audiobooks. And there's also a website called futurelearn.com, where I think a lot of the universities are giving away free courses. So you could go on there and, just do something new, or like learn a language, learn a musical instrument, whatever you want. I think that there's like, we're lucky to live in an age of technology where there's so much like options out there.
Yeah. When do you think is a good time for students to start exploring their career options?
Oh, like as soon as they can. I think, yeah, like the second you start university, you should be already thinking about, where you see yourself going. Like start talking to companies, start figuring out what you like and what you don't like. Like companies have different cultures, and you'll know from interacting with people whether that's a fit for you. Start looking them up online, start following them on LinkedIn, start building a network, start building connections as well, because like I have students that are going in, like they're in their first year of university, and they're already contacting me about like their internships in 3 years, and that's making like me kind of think, oh god, these people are on the ball, they're really, really proactive. So I don't think it's ever too early to start thinking about where you want to go.
Yeah, it sounds like it can't be too early, but it can be too late.
Oh, definitely.
Scrambling.
Yeah, and like I find it so disappointing. Like we have amazing students that reach out to us like in the last month looking for roles to start the summer, and like our jobs were advertised in September, October to hire people for the summer, and they were all kind of filled by January, February. So, I know people are a bit scared of like failing their exams and they want to focus, but like really just apply. The likelihood is you're going to pass everything, and even if you fail, you'll just do a repeat, where you don't have to admit that to us.
Yeah. So what would you suggest for a student that has multiple industries that they're interested in and is struggling to decide?
Yeah, like I think that that's completely normal. And I think that you might need to experience a couple of different industries, and even within the same industry, there might be different cultures. So I don't know. It's more about like the culture fit and whether, that's who you are. Like we have this thing in VMware, it's all about like being your authentic self. So is that a company that, you feel like you can be yourself and that you're making an impact? I do think that doing that VIP thing that I discussed at the start will help you start like looking at companies and seeing if their values align with your values. And you can start kind of figuring out then, okay, this seems like it would be a good fit for me. But unfortunately, sometimes it's trial and error as well, that you kind of learn what you want and what you like from doing something that you don't like. So maybe, you pick something and afterwards you're like, I don't know, but like you've learned something. You've probably taken away skill sets. So, it's hard.
Yeah. Is it okay for a student to explore industries outside of their degree?
Oh, absolutely. Like even when I think of VMware, it's a tech company, but we provide solutions for every industry. So we, would be providing tech solutions for the medical field. We would provide it for financial companies and for education as well. So like we love people that have diverse skills and backgrounds. So even this year for like a technical type role, we hired someone that was coming from a biochemistry background, because I suppose they have a different way of thinking. They've got a diverse way of thinking and putting together diverse teams, where some people might be coming from more technical. Like it just builds stronger teams. So definitely. And also if you think about, like, I suppose, like if you studied finance, like you don't have to just go into a finance company, because every industry has a financial department. So there's lots of industries that you could go into.
Yeah, and then even like start off in finance department and then end up in marketing or something.
Oh, that's what I feel like, that students a lot of the time, they're apprehensive about taking a role because they're like, oh, I don't know if that's my perfect job. But then, they join the company, they love the company, and they start building up relations. They find out more about what other roles are in there, and they just start moving and getting like, fully more rounded skill set, because they're learning, from one department what they do, and then the next department and the next department, and like, suddenly like they know everything about everything. So.
And that's what you get if you join a company that has a good company culture. They do give you those opportunities to move within the company because they really want they treat their employees well.
Oh, completely. Like we have this program where, if you're in the company for, I think like after 1 year, you get like 5,000 every year to like continue your education. But after 3 years, you can spend 2 weeks with another team to get exposure. And after 5 years, you can spend 3 months with another team, because they want to keep you in the company. They don't want to lose people to another company. So it's really good.
I know you also wanted to talk about mindset. Can you explain a little bit about how a student's mindset can help them overcome obstacles that they might face?
Yeah. So some people have a fixed mindset, and that's basically they think that they were born with a certain amount of ability and that they're never going to be any better, and if they can't do something, they just give up straight away, and if they fail, they say, that's it, I'm never doing that again, it's final. Somebody that has a growth mindset then has like the opposite approach, where they feel like everything can be learned if they try hard enough, and they will fail, but they're learning from their failing, and it's all getting them to where they need to go. So they keep on trying, and they keep on like building up their knowledge until they get to their goal, basically. And it's just, I just think it's a different change, like in your mind, where you'll not like look at problems as something that you just give up because you can't do. You'll look at problems as something that you'll take on and you'll try.
So what tips can you give students who want to change their mindset?
Well, I think that the first thing is do a bit of research on the brain. I think people forget that it's a muscle, and much like if you wanted to like get that beach body or six pack and you went to the gym, you wouldn't expect that the very first day you'd have it. Like it's something that you have to work on. So every time like somebody pushes themselves out of their comfort zone, neurons in the brain kind of forge together, and it builds a stronger pathway. So the more you use it, the more it forges, and it actually is making you smarter, and it's making you, more like willing to take on problems, and see that everything is doable. So that would probably be the first one. I think waking up in the morning as well and just thinking like, what are my learning opportunities today? What could I tackle to learn something new, to push myself out of my comfort zone? I always feel as well that like everyone has this self-doubt, and I almost think about it as the little things on your shoulder, kind of like where one's like, yeah, you can do it, and the other one's like, you're going to fail. Why are you even trying that? And I think it's really like putting that like negative one in check and being like, what's the facts to back up that I'm going to fail? Like, everything I've tried before I've been able to do, or so why would I fail at this one? And kind of just like working on your confidence in that way and changing your mindset and just telling yourself you can do this, because I think it's so powerful that just by like being competent and telling yourself like, no, you can do this, that you'll change the way that you look at things. Yeah, I think that's probably some tips to at least try. Also in terms of resources, like I think there's a Carol Dweck is a speaker on mindset, and she has a TED Talk. So have a look at that TED Talk as well. I think there's probably going to be more techniques in that.
Great, that's amazing advice. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to kind of end with some questions that were submitted by our viewers. So Clement from EM Lyon Business School is asking, what is the key to a fulfilling career?
Ooh, so I think that like a fulfilling career is going to work in a place that you love, where you feel like you can be yourself and you're using your skills to the best of your ability. So I think that doing your VIP exercises and really, really thinking about who you are, finding a company with a culture that you can go to work and be who you are, and finding a role where you're using your skill set is probably, the key to a successful career and a fulfilling career.
Casey from Oxford Brookes University asks, what's something you wish you knew when you were first graduating?
Ooh, so when I started working in university recruitment, it made me realize that when somebody applies for a job, like there could be 600 people on that actual job, and the recruiter might just like, have it posted for a couple of weeks and might just look at the first 20 and take out 10 good people and move them forward. And then everyone else on that job actually doesn't even get reviewed, and they may just get declined. And I wish I'd known that, because when I was out of university and I was applying for jobs and I was getting declines, these automatically, we're sorry, I was taking it so personally. I actually felt like there was somebody in the room that was looking at my CV going, no, she's no good. So I wish I had known that like that wasn't the case, and that like somebody, it was just the system, because I think it would have made me feel like not as bad about getting rejected.
Okay, Valentina from Luis Guido Carli asks, self-awareness requires time and dedication. What if we focus too much on that and lose sight of the original objective, finding a job?
Yeah, I think that this comes back to like what I've learned in project management as well, that like, for a successful project, you probably need to put about 20% of your time into planning, for the rest to kind of work out on time. So I do find that there's probably going to be a balance where you can put some time and effort into knowing who you are right now, and like doing some initial research and picking some of the right companies. But in the end of the, like when it comes down to it, like you still need to earn probably, and you still need to get some experience, and you still need to find a job. So some of that can be done through, finding jobs where you're like, I don't like this and I don't like this. So I think that there is probably a balance, but I do think that like, put some time into this, especially when we're in this situation at the moment, like started, but like you'll still have to probably make some money someday. So.
Vanny from Universiteit Utrecht asks, what do you do in a situation where you find the perfect job, but your coworkers are terrible? Do you choose the work over the people, or vice versa?
God, that's an interesting one. Like, I don't know how it could be a perfect job when your coworkers are terrible. Like, I think that the people probably are the culture, so if you're in there and the people are not nice to you and they're making it an uncomfortable situation, but you're still able to do your job, maybe like you work from home more.
Isolation is good for this situation.
Yeah, and avoid them. But yeah, like I just think that you spend so much of your life in work that you want to be somewhere where like it almost feels like it's family, and that you're part of something bigger. So, I think that it's easier to move into a company where like, you love their culture, and you may not be in a role that like, fits all your skill set, but I think it's easier to come into a team and be like, well, I have these skill sets. How about I do this project? And that you can expand your role, or while you're in there, you can find other roles and start thinking about how to move between those.
One final question from Liv, University of Southern Denmark. How should graduates deal with declining self-confidence in view of the ongoing challenging situation in the job market?
Yeah, I know with the situation at the moment, it is kind of scary. And it's something that I suppose like I went through when I worked in recruitment years ago. There was like the economic downturn with the financial institutes, and I was kind of in the same position where I was let go from my role, and it was really kind of heartbreaking and kind of felt like there was nothing else out there. But I found an amazing job that started my career in the gaming industry. So I think that the best thing I could do is like, don't like watch your mindset when you're thinking about, oh God, there's no roles out there and everything's terrible. Like you're already being negative. Like, there are roles out there, even like VMware, like we're upping our hire numbers for graduates and interns for this season, for next season. So there will definitely be roles out there. It's just like, how can you make sure that like you're in the best position to get the role that you want? Don't think about everyone else, think about you, and start building your LinkedIn network, start reaching out to people, start doing things that make you stand out, like your why statement, your mission statement, so just spend time on that, and just get out there and just think like I'm going to get the perfect job for me, and it'll happen.
Okay, well, I think that's a wrap. Mairead, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us and for taking the time out of your day to spend with us. For all of our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you tune in for the next Meet the Expert. Thank you.
Thank you.